Wendy Silva from the Center for Abuse and Rape Emergencies. Welcome. Today we have a very special guest, Stephanie Powers from the State Attorney's Office. Stephanie,
Hello.
it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. And I love the fact that we're able to film outside. It's just beautiful today. So socially distanced, outside, we're good. Um, Today, Stephanie's going to tell us a little bit about, because we know a lot about what happens to a sexual assault victim and when they go to the hospital and the law enforcement piece, because they got to go out and arrest the person who committed the crime. But a lot of us have questions. What happens once the state attorney's office accepts a case?
Well, thanks for having me. Great to be here, and it's a beautiful day, nice outside on this patio. So when a case first comes to me, if the police have made an arrest, then the case will come to me, and I have a deadline as to when I need to make my filing decision. And there's a lot that goes into that. So I have to review everything that law enforcement submits to me, their reports, audio statements or video statements, any physical evidence that they may have collected. I review all of that, and then I have to determine whether or not I believe that I can prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt to the jury. That's my burden in trial.
Now, beyond a reasonable doubt, so it's not that you have to be able to prove they actually did it, just that there's no doubt left in a jury's mind or the judge's mind.
Yeah, so the difficult conversation that I end up having to have a lot of the times is victims. Is that it doesn't matter if I believe them or not. I have to be able to prove that it happened. So lots of times we can know what happened in our hearts, and we can know, what it looks like. But if I can't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt to a jury, then it's not a case that I can put into the system.
And I know we have this conversation, and sometimes advocates get very frustrated because, police will either say there's not enough evidence and it's a he said, she said, and then we get to the state attorney's office and something comes up and they decide, well, it's not going to go because of whatever's going on. And as advocates, and I'm always telling my advocates that, it's not a matter of whether it goes to court or not. It's a matter of advocates we're just there for that survivor. I think your job's a lot tougher because you've got to not only believe, we do that Start by Believing campaign every year, but you not only have to believe, you have to be able to prove and make others believe.
That's right. I have to think about how the whole case would look to a jury. So I have to anticipate what the defense is going to be and, what holes that they've seen in my case. And if I can combat those, then great. But if I can't and I don't have a response to those, that's where the problem lies. So it does, unfortunately, with sexual assault cases, a lot of the time become a he said, she said case. So we have to look for any of the details that we might have to corroborate the victim's story.
So what would your advice to a victim coming forward be?
Be 100% honest. We all have these ideas about what a victim should look like, the facts surrounding it, and I think a lot of times victims are concerned about, how it's going to look, like what they were doing and how people are going to judge them. When a victim comes to talk to me, I'm not going to judge them based on what they were wearing that night or if they had gone out late at night or any of the sort of preconceived ideas that we have. I just need to hear the entire story without leaving out any of those details, because if I find those out later on, then that's where the problem lies, because then it looks like we've been trying to hide something or we've been trying to keep something back. And if my case is going to be largely based on the word of a victim, then I have to know everything so that I can be prepared for that.
So if I was at the local tavern, karaoke night, and I'd had a few beers, and I'm having a really good time with this guy, and people see me having a good time with this guy, but later we leave and he rapes me, as long as I'm upfront with you about what was happening earlier, it's easier for you to defend me than for me to deny all of that.
Absolutely. It's important oh, this guy raped me, and you don't give me any of the facts surrounding it, then when the defense comes to me and says, well, did you know that they were at this bar, and did you know that other customers saw them having a good time together? If I don't know that, then that takes me by surprise, and it makes it look like the victim isn't being truthful.
Yeah, so that kind of puts holes in the case. And even though she really truly is a victim, just that omission of that part kind of makes her look like you're not telling the whole truth.
Right. There's nothing wrong with going to a bar, having a couple of drinks, having a good time. That doesn't mean that it's okay for someone to rape you. It just means that I need to know all of those facts so that I can prepare.
Okay. And not to push you on the spot, I don't need an exact number. Approximately how many cases did go to court? Get one.
Get one. Well, I would say the majority of the cases, for us, when we're putting a case into the system, it's not really about winning or losing. It's about getting justice. And so that's what we're really there for. The majority of our cases end up resolving the case. So really not many go trial. Sexual assault cases end up going to trial because we are able to resolve a lot of them. There are a lot of cases that we're not able to proceed on, and then there are other cases where things come up. A case is like ever evolving, and so there are things that come up along the way that might make it so that even though we started out thinking we could prove the case, we end up not being able to. But all along the way, we're working with our victim advocates in the state attorney's office to try to support the victim, because at the end of the day, we really want to make sure that our victim is safe and getting counseling and helping to get through all of the trauma that goes along with sexual assault. Whether we can take it to trial, whether we get it guilty or not, they have to be able to, survive and get past everything that's gone on for them in their lives.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Stephanie. That really has cleared up a lot for me and hopefully for our audience at home as well. I know that's, we always tell survivors when they come in that, just because it goes one way or another in court doesn't mean we're done. As advocates, we're still here for you because, it was a traumatic experience, and no matter where it goes in court, we're still here to help you on that healing journey.
That's right.
So, and then they have the advocates there at the state attorney's office as well.
Yeah.
And the whole goal really is for all of us to work together to support a survivor, no matter, and unfortunately life's life, and there are going to be those cases that are unable to be prosecuted or that don't turn out the way we want them to. But my advice to any survivor is if you have the opportunity, hold your attacker responsible, hold them to accountability, and then let Miss Stephanie do her job. Thank you, Stephanie,
Thanks for having me.
it was very nice. And everybody, please remember, if you are being hurt, you don't have to go through this alone. You can call our 24-hour helpline at 941-627-6000 or 941-637-0404. We have a text line if that's more comfortable for you, in which nothing is kept. We have no record. Once the text is done, it's erased. So you're safe. That number is 941-499-8534. We have an office in Englewood as well. The number there is 941-475-6465. We have an online chat that has an escape button, and there's no history, and we don't use cookies, so it won't come up in your search history. And you can go to CAREFL, CARE, Florida, CAREFL.org, and you can reach that. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, at CARE Charlotte County. We have lots of great posts and videos. Please, come like and share. And also, I'd like to thank Florida Council Against Sexual Violence. It is their funding that helps us to bring these messages to you. And thank you, our audience, for being here, for following